Just imagine, you wake up, it's a beautiful spring day in the month of April of 2018.
The 1st of April?
Well, no, it's not the 1st of April, just this in April.
Past April Fools.
And you're getting ready to go
to your local theater, your local cinema.
Yes,
perhaps.
You're going to watch the midnight opening of Avengers Endgame. 10 years have led up to this moment. 10 years!
10 years.
Oh my
10
God.
years. A decade, if you will.
Yeah, well, some people call it.
Some people.
So the anticipation is built.
It's boiling.
Oh my God, Infinity War ended with people dying, dead!
How will they solve this?
You grab your popcorn, your drink, you go into the theater, and you experience Avengers Endgame for the first time. Fast forward 7 years, and now we're in the Great Depression of the MCU movies.
It's a dry spell, you know.
Yeah.
The market's crashed. The bubble has bursted.
As you can say, the fake Marvel penis is now flaccid.
Huh?
So now we all look around and we ask ourselves, MG... Wait.
Machine Gun Kelly?
MMGA, Eduardo. Make Marvel great again.
That's just my opinion. I can't have an opinion anymore.
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment.
No, in all seriousness,
seriousness.
Yes, Marvel stinks.
Yeah.
And we've had some bright spots over the years. You know, you've had movies of the likes of Deadpool and Wolverine,
Shang-Chi,
Fantastic Four,
Thunderbolts, maybe.
Perhaps the Marvels for some.
So with Doomsday being announced and everything falling into play, all the movies coming out, we had a thought of revisiting all the phases that led us to this point. So today, in preparation for Doomsday, we are going to be revisiting Marvel Phase 1. We're going to watch 6 movies in total. That being Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, the First Avenger, and The Avengers.
We took some notes on the movies when we watched them, and we have some ranking criteria. Things we took note of are, is the plot / is the story good?
Does the protagonist go through an actual arc in the movie?
Yes.
That's a good one. We have a lot of room to work with on that one.
Does the movie have a good villain?
Our likes and dislikes that could just go into reviewing of the movie.
Yeah.
You know, just how that is. We also have, does it have a good ending?
Does the movie hold up? Is it good after all these years?
Yeah, does it hold up? And this might be a little hard, and we could talk about it throughout the video. How impactful is it to the MCU?
Yep.
Granted, this is the start of the foundation blocks of the movie, of the overall MCU.
Yeah.
But does it hold up? Is there any significance? We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. We also have some subplot rankings that we're gonna do, some little quirky rankings. We're going to figure out after all these movies who was our favorite villain out of the 6 movies, favorite post-credit scene, last but not least, favorite
Stan Lee cameo.
Yes.
We have a Stan Lee cameo.
Yes, we do.
And just to preface this, we are just simply watching the MCU movies. There are some shorts that came out after the Avengers.
Yeah.
We're not counting that. It's just simply movies, the movies that made the MCU.
I'm pretty sure they made a goddamn Agent Coulson one. It's like, I'm not watching that, dude.
Love Coulson, but not doing that to you, buddy. We're also going to be putting them in a tier list to see, our personal reviews on the movies.
Yep.
But before we do that, we just want to thank all of our subscribers. Thank you so much. Thank you for engaging on the videos, like, commenting, and subscribing. It really means a lot to us. We have a lot of videos planned out. The summer was pretty good, and it's still going pretty strong. This is going to be our first big project in the sense.
Long ass video, yes.
Yeah, it's going to be a long video, but we hope you enjoy, and we have plenty on the way.
And please like, comment, and subscribe, or Doomsday's coming.
Oh, Dr. Doom.
To get us started off, before we entered the glorious realm of 2008 and Iron Man released.
Yesterday.
I'm sure it did, buddy.
To us.
No, to you. We have to lead up to Iron Man.
Whoa.
And how do we get there?
Prelude to the old MCU.
Pre-cum, as some would say.
Grok, summarize this.
God damn, people actually think we use Grok. In the mid-1990s, Marvel Comics was in severe financial crisis.
Very much.
Very much so. And they also filed for bankruptcy. That means they had to license out their popular characters, such as Spider-Man, the X-Men, Fantastic Four. Yep.
Right.
They eventually would want to gain back that creative control so they can make their own movies, because the big man in charge, Feige, had an idea, a plan, as you would say.
That's Kevin Feige, by the way.
As Dutch Vanderling would say, I got a plan.
Arthur.
Marvel secured a $525 million loan. They went on to develop the first movie, which was Iron Man, as their first independently financed feature. Favreau was set to direct and wanted to take a more grounded approach to the character. He wanted Robert Downey Jr. to play the Tony Stark character, but Marvel was hesitant because of Downey's past.
Yeah, he had a colorful past. I don't know too much of it, but we all know the bullet points of it, that he was a drunk. He had, didn't he have like substance abuse?
Oh yeah.
Substance abuse. He's been in jail. I remember people posting his mugshot. I understand from a CEO's perspective or a company's perspective of why the fuck would we want to hire this guy with a checkered past like that.
And you kind of banking on this movie expanding that universe and making a lot of money off of it. So this is the guy you want to have for years to come. Big gamble.
Very much so.
Boy, did it pay off.
It paid off big time. You know, in business, what they say is sometimes you have to spend money to make money.
Okay, Wolf of Wall Street. God damn.
So Marvel did such case. They sold the rights to three of their big IPs. You know, they got that money and then they gambled on Red Iron Man.
Oh shit. So Favreau eventually pushed Marvel and they did a screen test with Downey, which would leak.
Love that. Love a good leak.
Yeah. And it created buzz and the fans pushed back and said, we want Downey.
You know, I remember that. I think it was more like an official trailer for it, but I remember seeing that and people were just
I don't think I've ever seen it.
That. Yeah, the first Iron Man trailer. Yeah.
I remember when that happened for Deadpool.
Yeah,
but I don't remember.
It was around the time, at least for me, people were still calling it commercials, and then the Iron Man trailer came out, and that's when people started using the T word, the trailer. And that ever since then it just kind of
back in your time, Uncle.
Our time.
Production began in March of 2007 for Iron Man and would eventually release on May of 2008 to positive reviews. It was a critical and commercial success upon release, and it grossed over $585 million worldwide. It currently sits at a 94% critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes and 91% audience rating.
Make your own opinion, people. But sometimes what I always like to say is you can use Rotten Tomatoes as more to get a general feel of what people are saying.
Yeah, I think we both agree we love Morbius, but not many people did.
Let's talk about Iron Man. Starts off with just him, Tony Stark, our protagonist, played by Robert Downey Jr. We see him more so just already, you get a glimpse of how he's irresponsible, just doesn't really care about always being there, but you know that he is a celebrity, if you will, right? He has a really good company. He has a weapons company, Stark Enterprises, that makes really crazy weapons and just supports the military. But even then, you get a little glimpse of he's in the little award show. They're giving him an award. Yeah. And you get a little glimpse that, hey, he's really smart, graduated from MIT at like 14, 15. He built his own car or something. He built something. He really likes mechanics and everything. But when he's going to receive the award, it cuts to him gambling. You know, he doesn't really care. After he leaves the casino, I do like the scene where the reporter is talking to him. He's like, oh, what do you think about your nickname, the Harbinger of Death or something like that? Yeah. And he really's like, I actually like that, you know? And I also like how she's interviewing him and he's like, oh, I'd love to answer more questions, you know, if you have any. And then it just cuts to them making out.
Marvel does not do that anymore. There's no more stuff like that no more. Yeah. Even that whole beginning scene is good, but like you said, it opens up when he's in a truck. I think this is a great opening for the movie. He opens up in the military truck. He's having that back and forth. You get a sense of who Tony Stark is right away, even if you've never read the comics. Yeah. He's going back and forth with the military people, jokes, and then he says that to that girl. He's like, "Good, dear God, you're a woman." Yeah, like he didn't even like
good funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's a good funny little bit.
Yeah, he gets his jokes off, and then shit hits the fan, and you see like attitude change, mood change, and it's just like he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna die here."
Yeah. So he reaches his phone, tries to make a call, and something. Then the irony or the epiphany moment is that the missile that he sees, it says Stark Enterprises. Yeah. So at the time he doesn't really register it, but as the movie continues, that's the overall message and a good character arc of Tony Stark, that hey, you're making these weapons, those same weapons got you in what the predicament that you are today. He gets captured by a group called the 10 Rings. Yeah. Which those 10 rings end up getting clarified, but all the way up until Shang-Chi, where you explain that hey, it's not really the 10 Rings, they just use that name. Yeah. So
copycats.
I guess it's nice that Marvel finally caught up to it, but there's a whole about 10, 15 movies that they cleared that up. So then we get that, and that's more so the introduction of Iron Man, that how he gets the little arc reactor in his chest because of that incident. Yinsen, which is the guy that he also meets at the cave.
Yinsen helped him? Who helped him put that? That was Yinsen.
Yinsen did that. He said the reason why you have that arc reactor is because it's acting almost as a magnet to keep the shards of metal hitting your heart.
Yeah.
So he asked to keep that in.
Yeah. Right? Which I kind of forgot what happens. I think it happens in Iron Man 3. We're not there yet, but like obviously that's not even relevant anymore to him as a character. Not even a thing.
It's crazy that it goes from 1, 2, and then 3. That's when he finally gets rid of that arc reactor. Yeah. Which is still crazy because he has a hole in his chest.
Yeah.
But how are they? I guess they could just patch it up, I guess, but he still just has
put
that
meat
hole.
in there.
Yeah, just some ground beef. So he meets Yinsen. Yinsen's a really good character. I think one of my good moments I find is with Yinsen.
I like Yinsen's
he's more
character.
just having a talk to talk with him. Granted, he's his only friend in the Middle East that he's just in the cave with, so that's all he has. At that same time that it's happening back in the States, they are more so looking for Tony, seeing that he's no longer there. They don't really know what to do because he's the head of the company. Cutting back to Iron Man, the group, the organization wants Iron Man or Tony Stark and Yinsen to make the Jericho missile. Yeah, which that's the whole premise. That's the reason why they keep him alive. Yeah. And I really like the scene where Yinsen's acting as a translator, talking to the group, and the group leader says, "Hey, we will let you go, but you need to build this, the Jericho missile." And in English, Tony Stark tells him he's not going to let me go. Yeah. He's like, "No, he's not.
He's going to kill you." Yeah.
So with that, he starts doing what he does best, just building things and getting himself out of the situation. And he's tinkering with a couple of stuff. Yinsen asks, "Well, that's not a Jericho missile." Yeah. And he's like, "No, it's not. It's a miniaturized arc reactor that I have at home," and he pops it into his chest, giving him that life so he doesn't have to constantly stay with the battery. Yeah, which good. Yeah, it's really good.
I think it was a car battery.
Yeah, it was a car battery. Just start by hearing, has to carry it with him.
So from there, he works on the arc reactor for himself, but also has to work on the missile, but is also doing a secret project on the side, which is building the first rendition,
the Mark 1.
Yeah, the Mark 1 suit,
which is it's a little ugly, but I like it. It's a little callback to the first Iron Man suit from the comics, but it's still pretty good. It looks very bulky, but for what you need it to do, it looks pretty cool.
It's good. If I'm fighting my way out of the desert, it's enough to take some take some heat.
They finally build it. I do like the scene where him and Yinsen are trying to get the Iron Man suit to power up. It's taking a little longer than expected, and then Yinsen just says, "I'll buy you some time." He just runs with an AK. He's not even shooting people. He's just shooting the air. Yeah. And then he turns the corner out of the cave, and it's a group, like about 10, 15 men. And Yinsen's just there. And, he doesn't make it out. Yeah. But Iron Man has good moments.
Yeah, I think that scene with Yinsen's really good, too, when he passes.
Yinsen brings up a point of legacy. What does Tony Stark want his legacy to be? Which more so makes him question it a little bit, because currently he's getting the back end of it. Of his legacy, what he thought he was doing in terms of maintaining, Stark Industries, but in reality, it's more so just building weapons that got him in this fucking predicament.
Yeah, it was making him a lot of money, but morally not right.
Yeah, exactly. Once he passes, Yinsen tells him, "Don't waste your life. Live a good life and just be good," essentially, is what he told him. But he tells him, more importantly, don't waste your life. As we go on in the Iron Man franchise, not that he wastes it, but more so especially in Iron Man 2, he gets a little loosey-goosey and just decides not to give a fuck. Yeah. But we'll talk about that soon. It was a good scene when he finally he really thought that he could help him. He's like, "No, come on, we have to go see your family." And Yinsen tells him, "Oh, I'm gonna go see them now."
Yeah, which tells the audience that, "Oh, my family was dead."
The MCU heroes do kill people. But I mean, for instance, Captain America, he kills people, but they were German soldiers. So I mean, we can't play too much sympathy on that.
Do you think Batman would kill a German soldier, or is that's still against his code?
I don't know. After incinerating all those people, he flies out, and because the suit manages to have like a little juice in it to get it out, he crash lands in the desert, which I'm surprised that, because he lands feet first.
He does, yeah.
He feet first into the sand, which he still somehow survives. Rhodey sees him. He sees him. It's nice that they get up. Finally, when he's back in the States, he has a broken arm or a little like in a cast or something, and he tells Happy and Pepper, I want 2 things. And Pepper says, oh, well, this is not the time.
Yeah.
He's like, I want a burger and I want to make a press conference.
Yeah.
And it's very crazy because it makes you wonder, because the burger
it's a fucking Burger King burger.
It's a Burger King
God
burger.
damn it.
So I'm wondering how much money did Burger King or maybe because
help fund the movie.
Marvel was starting out, they would take anybody.
Probably.
McDonald's was fuck that. We're not gonna sponsor that, but Burger King, yeah. We'll let you
use
use
it.
it. We'll take it. We'll take it.
To be fair, a Burger King burger in 2008 is really good.
Probably
it's probably really good.
Probably
So he holds the press conference and then announces that Stark is not going to work with weapons anymore. No more
Stark
weapons.
Enterprises isn't going to make any weapons.
Yeah, no more weapons.
But yeah, he makes new suits. He makes the Mark II, which I like that. I like the all silver. It looks pretty nice.
It's not bad.
Pretty sleek. I like that. I do like the inspiration of it when Jarvis is showing how it would look all red. He's like, oh, let's add some yellow to it, and the iconic scene. So he goes to Jensen's hometown and he sees that they have Jericho missiles. So he goes there and you get arguably one of the best MCU shots in that whole scene. You know, when he shows up, he fucking punches a guy up in the air. And he hits the wall and then he just shoots other people. I do like the scene where they have the hostages and they're like, stop, and he's like, okay, I'll put it down, and the little missiles pop up and he just shoots everybody. Once he destroys that, there's a tank that shoots him out of the air, right? That scene where he's like crawling out and you see his eyes right here, that's also very peak. It's very peak.
Movie got sauce, man. It got some sauce.
And then the greatest scene when you associate Iron Man, aside from the snapping of the finger, the tank shoots him, he dodges it, goes like that, shoots a little missile, walks around, and the tank explodes. And he's just looking straight at the camera.
Aura.
Beautiful shot by Favreau.
That was a good shot.
It's a really good shot. Really, really good shot. Overall, we're not really talking much about the villain, but the big bad of this movie is Obadiah Stane, which is
stupid name.
Tony Stark's mentor / Obadiah happened to work with Tony Stark's father.
It would be like his kind of like his, you know, when someone's close to your family, like that's my uncle.
Kind of like your uncle more so in a little bit, but he's more so focused and really only focused on, hey, our business isn't making money. We need to make money. What you're doing is just bad.
And in the middle of the movie, you find that out whenever the leader of the 10 Rings guy that originally captured Tony has a meeting out in the desert, and Obadiah Stane shows up. And it basically tells him, you were supposed to kill this guy. Why is he back? You had a job to take care of. And with that, I believe they have some of the old suit from the Mark I that got left in the desert.
Yeah, they have that. They reconstructed it. Obadiah uses this hearing technology, which gives you paralysis.
It's like the one time it used in any MCU movie, and then that's it.
They don't use it.
It seems so powerful.
It is. Yeah, it is. And he's like, yeah, the FDA didn't let us use this.
Yeah,
but
I wonder why.
Yeah, really good. So he takes the suit, and then he gets back to the States, and he's telling his lab geeks that, hey, we need to build this. I need you to recreate this. And then you get the famous line of,
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps.
Hey, you know who he's screaming at?
Oh, the guy from Far From Home.
Yeah, but he's also the kid from Christmas Story.
Really?
Yeah, that's him.
I did not know that.
I'm 100% sure that's
crazy.
him. Yeah.
That's crazy. So with that, you have Iron Man more so reflecting on his past and wanting to be better and wanting to do good by stopping all manufacturing of the weapons and just becoming Iron Man.
Yeah, and that kind of goes into our first little note or criteria for the movie, which is like his arc. And I think this is a great arc. Like we talked about in the beginning, he's a billionaire playboy that kind of doesn't give a fuck, that is smart, but is very just like lazy and like he just wants to have fun. He doesn't really give a fuck about nothing else. He's kind of under his dad's shadow.
Yeah, very much so.
It seems like he has a lot of disdain towards his dad. He's just like, he has this thing about his dad, you know? And that expands in other movies, which I really like, but he's outright a terrible guy. Like in the beginning of the movie, he's not a really good guy, but he actually goes through an arc of like Jensen is a very important character.
It's a pivotal point.
And it's just like him going through that is a good arc for a character, and it's very realistic. You're looking at a guy that's like, man, my weapons that I'm creating or killing innocent people.
Exactly. Yeah.
I need to make a change, and it completely changes his life, and I really like that. I think this movie has a very good arc.
It does. Yeah, going from, like you said, the douchey playboy billionaire that doesn't really care, just more is very acting over self-interest, to more so realizing what he's doing, realizing that his own weapons / company affected him, and he's gonna have that arc reactor for what he thinks is forever, and more so just trying to do right. Towards the end of the movie, Obadiah is upset because Pepper stole all the files, and because Tony Stark wants confirmation that, hey, Obadiah set this hit on me. So he does that. She hacks into it. Obadiah sees that, and then the movie really just cuts to it.
It does.
It cuts to just Tony being there on the couch, and then Obadiah just shows up and just charges it.
Yeah.
Another crazy thing is, I don't know if you got this, but it's very subtle. But when Obadiah is just looking at the arc reactor and is like, oh, this is perfect. You know, you gave Earth or humanity its best weapon. You know, your father helped us with the atomic bomb. Crazy. Very crazy. Howard Stark helped the atomic bomb.
Yeah,
very crazy.
He was in the lab cooking up with Oppenheimer.
Yeah, he was with Oppie cooking it up. He takes the little arc reactor and leaves just Tony Stark there to die.
And what saves him is, before that, Pepper got him the Tony Stark does have a heart.
Yeah. The old little like arc reactor that he made in the cave.
Yeah, so he went down, crawled to the basement, and put it in himself, or almost put it in himself, and then Pepper came in or something, I think.
It was the little like robot arm thing. And I gave it to him. He smashed it, and then he puts it back, so he's alive.
Yeah,
he's still recovering, and then Rhodey comes in.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Rhodey comes in, and they do this nice little subtle jab that he might play him.
Yeah, he looks at the
because Tony takes off, and then he sees the silver, the Mark II.
Yeah.
He's like, next time, baby.
Yeah.
And he takes the Audi, which, all right, dude.
There, no next time for you, Terrence Howard. No next time. Yeah. My biggest complaint is the villain for the movie. Not because of Jeff Bridges or the character of Obadiah Stane. It's this kind of thing that Marvel is going to do in other movies, which we'll see. It's like the main character going against the same version of himself.
I was going to mention that. Yeah. Because we have about three of that cases that happens.
Yeah.
Looking at Obadiah's armor, they call it the Ironmonger. Pretty cool. Yeah. It's like the Mark I, but slightly more refined, but still clunky and bulky. Still very cool. So once all that happens, the last act of the movie, it cuts to Pepper giving Tony the cards to read. Just say, hey, read this. We'll be fine. He starts reading it, and he more so stops and starts having little jousts, just laughing with the reporters. And then even Rhodey's like, just read the letters, man. He's like, well, the truth is, I am Iron Man. One of the greatest endings to MCU.
Amazing.
I like that, and it just cuts off with Iron Man by Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
Peak.
I'm not a big fan of when heroes give away their identity, but it's so on par for a character like Tony Stark to do that.
Yeah.
That's literally in his character. He would stand up there and be like, I am Iron Man. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, you know that thought that goes in the superhero's head, like, I gotta protect the ones I love. Iron Man's like, I'm gonna find a way to do that. I don't care. Like, I'll do that while people know my identity.
Right.
Really good ending. And that leads us to the post-credit scene, which is Nick Fury.
Yeah, he's there. I want to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative. I think that is probably one of the best post-credit scenes, I'd say, because it was one of those times where, look, at the time when I saw that, I didn't really, quite frankly, I didn't even know there was a post-credit scene. It was something that I saw later on that, oh my god.
Yeah, no one knew to stick around after the movie.
Yeah, we weren't, our brains weren't hardwired that way at the time. Now every movie, hey, there's a post-credit scene.
Yeah, you look up online, how many post-credit scenes is there?
Grok?
Yeah.
Stan Lee does have a cameo.
He does. I have it written down. Yeah.
But it's, hey, Hugh, like Hugh Hefner. For some reason, he's Hugh Hefner in this movie. But,
and he just kind of like hey, because he's wearing the same fucking coat as Hugh Hefner. So funny enough.
I think a slight little, this might be a little nitpicky, but I think the relationship between Tony and Pepper seems, there's moments where it's kind of there. They're going back and forth, but it also seems a little just kind of rushed a little bit.
I get you.
Not rushed, but just not as well executed, I don't think.
Yeah. Overall movie, character arc, we already touched on that. Good. I really liked it. I think the comedy is good. I don't think it's like...
Yeah. No, like, but I think this is the initial start of the MCU humor, but it's done really well. Yeah. Very tasteful, very lighthearted. I like it.
It fits his character.
It's not any Doc Ock. Well, that's a crazy name.
No, I would say overall, I liked the fighting scenes. I thought they were good. I just wasn't a big fan of him going against Obadiah too much. I think that was okay.
I can see that.
That's honestly really like one of my only dislikes. Like, I don't really dislike anything about this movie that I'm like, ugh. I think it's a good starter movie. I think it does lay the foundation for how MC movies follow after it.
The format of it.
Yeah, it's like a rough like
it's almost like a rough draft,
and then they start chipping away at it,
schematics, and then they almost kind of perfect it a little bit, but then they more so gets to the point of like, this again.
And I do also believe it's very substantial. I think obviously this is one of, if not the most substantial Marvel movies. Like this is the centerpiece. Like this started everything off.
Gotcha.
This kicks it off for me, and I think this is very important, and it holds a big place for the rest of the movies to come.
I like the movie. Overall, I really do like the movie. Dislikes, not too many. I don't think I have too many dislikes. It's just more so little nitpicks, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not to the point like, ugh, this movie's ass.
Yeah, no.
No, I just the Pepper and Tony romance is just okay.
Fair, yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. We know how that's going to progress. They do end up getting together.
Yeah.
I don't mind Obadiah as a bad villain. He's not the greatest villain.
No.
But I think it's very hard to determine what a really good villain is.
Yeah.
He's very almost one-dimensional in the sense that he just wants to get his business to succeed. He's acting all with self-interest, tried to kill Tony, things of that nature. The Ironmonger looks really good. I will say, I think the CGI holds up really well. Impactful to the MCU or substantial to the MCU, I think it is because it's the first movie. On top of that, you have that post-credit scene where it's establishing the Avengers. So it's more so those who knew at the time, because think about it, early like 2008, I don't think many people were really fully aware of comic books.
Yeah.
I think it's just more, hey, this movie looks kind of cool and it's Marvel. I guess they make comic books. It also it teases the Avengers and we know what's coming.
Yeah.
So those diehard nerds at the theater were probably like, the Avengers are coming. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That was our talk and look over of Iron Man. I think we both like this movie a lot. I think we had a good time. We think it's one of the better MC movies, especially in Phase 1.
Definitely.
So let's go ahead and rank it. What do you rank Iron Man?
I'm going to give it a big ol' S.
Oh, S
tier. I think that's one of the few Marvel movies that is an S tier. I'm gonna go with an S tier.
I'm gonna have to go with an S on this because everything we touched on for the past little bit. I like this movie a lot. I think this is one of the better MC movies overall.
Definitely.
After 30 movies now, I think this is still up there.
About 30 movies.
Yeah, this is a great comic book movie, and it's fun and it's kind of lighthearted and it takes itself serious, but it's not too serious. And it's just a good movie, and I think this is one of the best portrayals of Iron Man and Tony Stark. And yeah. Good movie. S tier for me. Moving on to
The Incredible Hulk.
Yes.
As y'all know, we did the Ang Lee Hulk, but this is not it. This is what happens after. I don't know. Was it ever tied into it?
So that's actually interesting.
Go ahead.
Let me educate y'all on that real
facts
quick.
of the day.
So after Iron Man 2008's success, Incredible Hulk actually came out the same year. And you're wondering, well, how's that possible? They were focused on Iron Man.
Okay.
This movie wasn't ever supposed to be a part of the MCU. So Universal held the distribution rights to the 2003 Ang Lee Hulk movie and wanted to develop a sequel. But as stated before, Marvel wanted creative control. They wanted to make their own universe.
Avi Arad said, no, we're taking
Bring it here, buddy. As they wanted to establish their own universe, they wanted to bring in Hulk to the MCU.
Right.
And to do that, Edward Norton and the director Louis Leterrier, I hope I said that right, wanted a Hulk similar to Ang Lee's Hulk, where it was like more of a grounded story, more character driven, I would say.
Right.
Marvel didn't want that. Marvel wanted more of an action-packed movie, a fun movie, something to lead into their Avengers movies and, push their narrative, right?
Yeah, push Hulk. I mean, Hulk's a big part of the Avengers.
For sure. So yeah, with them having disputes and stuff, apparently there's a version out there called the Norton version, which I don't know, but it's almost an hour longer and it's more grounded, I think.
I would want to see that.
That would be interesting.
I kind of want to see that.
This version, of course, just focuses on Norton and the director's original vision. And Marvel ended up shortening the movie and keeping it fast-paced and action-packed. These creative differences would lead Norton to leaving the MCU, obviously, and not playing the Hulk anymore.
I could see that.
Yep. He was later recast by Mark Ruffalo before the Avengers 2012 movie.
Right.
Yeah, so The Incredible Hulk wasn't a major hit. It wasn't a major flop either. It was just all right.
I think, I think that's the overall consensus of the movie.
It grossed $263 million worldwide, and it landed 68% critic and 69% audience.
So in the grounded aspect, for me personally, I do like that. I like that we're seeing a type of more, I guess, semi-realistic Hulk. Yeah. He's more so wanting to keep the monster contained. You see him, he's in Brazil.
Hiding out, right?
Yeah, he's just hiding out, keeping a low profile. He works...
I guess that would make sense if it's supposed to be a sequel to Ang Lee.
Because in Ang Lee, he ends off like he's in a Spanish-speaking country. He's like, oh, you won't like me when I'm mad.
Yeah, he says it in Spanish.
Yeah, he says it in Spanish. Which, keeping it, tying it together, it's more so realistic that it's been about what 280 days. I think it tells you. So it tells you like how many days since the incident.
Yeah,
very nice. He's more so he's meditating with some monks. The guy slaps him, and he has a little heart rate monitor, which is nice. The plot escalates where eventually, as always, the government tracks him, and they are trying to just shut him down.
Yeah,
I do like how careful and very aware he is. There's one scene where he cuts himself on the machine. A drop of blood falls onto one can,
and then he just like scrambles to find it.
He stops the line and everything. He's like, "Oh, sorry, blood happened." But the people working there are like, "Okay, well, that's probably a good thing that you did that." But what he knows is if he doesn't do that, his blood can go out there and more Hulks could probably happen, or his blood is just in danger.
Which is actually, we're gonna go ahead and interject this real quick. But that's when the Stan Lee cameo appears.
Semi-good Stan Lee cameo.
Yeah, he just takes a drink.
And like, oh!
Yeah. So pretty funny, but
somewhere there's a Stan Lee Hulk out there.
Yeah,
right. Edward Norton does good. I mean, he's fine.
I'm not a fan of Edward Norton as Hulk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all right. That's one of my dislikes.
He's not too bad.
I don't think he's bad.
Too bad. He's Edward Norton.
He doesn't give me. I don't know. Then again,
it's hard to, I guess, cast the perfect
Bruce
Banner.
My mind doesn't go to like a good Bruce Banner casting because I don't know what Bruce Banner is good on screen. Like I don't think I've seen a good Bruce Banner except in one movie, and that's the Avengers, the first Avengers.
Yeah, because sometimes they portray him as like, I'm just a nerdy guy and I don't want to do this, and the government don't stress me out, and then he just becomes the Hulk, right? But even in this movie, you see him. He's talking to Mr. Blue, to try to figure out a cure for his illness or the Hulk.
With him communicating with Mr. Blue, I think is what kind of pings the government, if I'm not mistaken, into realizing he's still out there. They send the squad out there and they find him. This squad is led by it's not the president yet, which becomes a Brave New World, but Thaddeus Ross is Agent Ross or whatever. He's a leader of a military thing, and
he's like he's a sergeant or something like that.
Sergeant, yeah. So he's like the big bad kind of, and he hires a fucking soldier like Eli Roth or whatever.
Yeah,
that's the actor's name, right? That is Abomination. He's sent out there to chase after him. He's a good soldier or whatever. Chases him. He has to flee Brazil and then goes to America.
He ends up finding Mr. Blue, which is a professor at a university. They finally meet face to face. They talk and everything. His daughter's already there with them. Thaddeus Ross' daughter, which is the love interest
of Edward Norton.
For Edward Norton, which I like their relationship. I do like their relationship.
Played by Liv Tyler, Steven Tyler's daughter.
I like their relationship. It's more so you can tell that she loves him and he loves her, but he can't get too close. I mean, one funny scene is when they're about to make out and his heart monitor starts going off. I was like, I can't.
You know what's actually fucking hilarious about that? Because I wrote this down. Like, it's actually in my notes. I'm not joking. I put, can the Hulk come out of Banner while having sex because his heart rate spikes? I then later in the movie put, never mind, that literally gets answered in the movie now.
In that scene, they finally pinpoint his location, that he's in the university, and then that's when we get a really good scene. You see him, because before that you saw him kind of Hulk out in Brazil. But it was dark, so you didn't really see much. But in the university, you get a really good shot where they lock him in this little hallway.
Great scene. I can't lie.
They tear gas him, and then he's like, "No, get away!" And then he bursts out.
Yeah,
I like how he looks. I think
it's a good looking Hulk.
My favorite good looking Hulk. Okay.
He looks more lean and like kind of
more lean. I like the hair of it. He just looks good. He just looks rageful, just badass. Yeah, just complete badass. He goes to town on fucking on the army. They try to chase him on these little like little buggies and everything, and then he just runs and knocks them into it. They finally do stop him with these little sound wave machines, which it stops him in his place, but it's still a really cool scene. Then Eli shows up and he's like looking up at him, and then Hulk does one of the craziest shot in the MCU. He kicks him, he rolls on the ground, and just boom, like the tree's right here, his limbs are just right there, and just he's on the ground,
basically dead.
Pretty much dead. And then we follow that up with Thaddeus seeing, it's like, oh good god. But they're like, oh, we got something for him. They get like a little needle and give him like a super soldier serum. Which we come later find out it does help him a little bit, but it just makes him more rageful, more angry and everything. At that point, they finally regroup with Mr. Blue. Mr. Blue finally makes an appearance in Captain America: Brave New World,
which is like an unofficial sequel to this movie.
So it's kind of crazy that after Infinity War, they more so are struggling for ideas like, oh, let's bring back the 10 Rings and let's bring back Mr. Blue. See, it's stuff from the MCU Phase 1. So they're they're doing an experiment in the sense of to try to take the Hulk's blood out of him so they can synthesize a way to almost reverse engineer it to cure him. They have him pinned down, which I don't think it would have worked. The only reason why it stops is because his daughter, Thaddeus Ross' daughter, gets on top of Hulk and is like, no, please, you don't have to do this.
The sun's getting low, big guy.
Yeah, so he's letting the blood come out, but Mr. Blue wants to keep going and get more blood, which the Hulk doesn't like that, so he's trying to break out and he hits him. He falls down, a beaker breaks of the Hulk's blood and it gets into his open wound cut on the brain. And you see the brain kind of like changing and forming up.
Yeah.
And at the time, people were like, oh my god, I know that character. That's going to come back.
Hey, they're not.
It took 20, 30 movies and then it came back
in
the
mid-movie.
most stupidest way possible. I think the government takes, we're going to call her Beth. They take Beth and Bruce Banner up into the helicopter and they're going to exfil. And then Eli shows up and he's like, oh, you have the Hulk's blood. I want that. I want to be like him. Another situation where the antagonist of the movie, yes, it's Thaddeus Ross, but reality, it's the Abomination.
Yeah.
But he wants to be just like him, just as strong as him,
Fighting
to go toe to toe.
Yeah.
So he gets the Hulk's blood into him.
Yeah.
Which it doesn't work because not only does he have the super soldier in him, but he has the Hulk's blood, so it turns him into
Abomination.
The Abomination. Which that design's sick. I like
pretty cool design.
I like how the spine is actually popping out. I like how these little bones pop out into him. He just looks like an abomination. It looks crazy. So he's wreaking havoc, funny enough, in Harlem. Where's Luke Cage?
Yeah, where's Luke Cage?
Yeah,
Jessica Jones, come on.
Fuck it. Where's Daredevils? He's wreaking havoc, and then they see him in the helicopter's perspective, and Edward Norton has an idea that, hey, I need to stop him. Only I can stop him. So he kisses Beth. He falls down, and then he tries to turn in. His eyes turn red or green for a second, and then
he just falls to the ground
to his death. But you get another really good shot. The first phase 1 had some really good comic book shots.
There's some cool shots.
I do like the scene where he comes out and he does the classic Goku. His t-shirt's barely hanging on. He just rips it off, and then they just run towards each other in the streets of fucking Harlem, dude.
That's dope.
It's really good. One of my favorite scenes too is the Abomination is throwing cars at him. Hulk grabs a police car. He rips it in half and uses them as boxing gloves and just starts beating the fuck out of the Abomination.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
And then he wraps the chain around the Abomination.
He does,
just starts choking him.
Damn.
And it's like yelling. You get a very primal Hulk.
Yeah, he's angry.
It's very nice.
He's very angry.
You see that in the Ang Lee. On the few scenes that we do see him at, you see a very primal, angry, hatred Hulk. But this one just, I think the facial structure really captures it.
It looks a little more human. Like it looks more like a human.
I think
it doesn't really look like Edward Norton, but it looks like a human.
What's it called? Mark Ruffalo's is fine, but that's because it's literally his face.
Yeah.
You know, so it's okay.
For me, there's not much of an arc here for Edward Norton's character. I don't think there is any at all, really. He just tries to survive, and then by the end, he goes into hiding again, and then it's like days without incident. Starts again, the counter.
Well, yeah, because he more so has control over it, because he's meditating, and then his eyes open, and it's like green.
Yeah.
So, it's not a real arc, I would say. I don't think he has too much of an arc. It's just more so...
This character goes through shit.
It's just go through. It's almost repetitive a little bit, the whole story of it, but it's a cool little story that we saw of the Hulk, him trying to find a cure. With him finding it, it kind of spawned in something worse, an abomination, if you will.
Yeah.
Not a bad movie.
Yeah,
I just think certain plots of the movie are just more like they drag a little bit.
They do.
Really need this. The end credits scene of the movie, pretty cool. You just see Ross just drinking at a bar alone, and then you see the bar door swings open, and you see none other than Tony Stark. Yeah. And he makes a little jokes like, "Oh, it's funny. I thought you would have worn your other suit." Which is, it's strange because he more so is telling him like, oh, what if I told you that there are other things out there? Or something along those lines. So we're putting together a team or something like that.
Yeah, which I still don't get, because in other movies, Tony's still like, I don't want to be a part of the Avengers.
Well, funny because right after that movie, it's Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, you're not qualified, buddy.
Yeah.
We're not going to do you, you know?
It's weird, but the villains as Ross and Abomination, same problem for me. Bad guys, the same as Hulk.
They don't really hit, it's not anything crazy, it's just the government, you know?
Yeah, the government.
That's really, and then the Abomination.
Yeah.
More so acting out of self-interest and just wanting to kill him. It's not really that impactful, because I was even thinking about this. How impactful would it be if it just has that one post-credit scene? Not really that impactful.
Very impactful.
So not very impactful add up. Does it hold up? I think the CGI holds up.
I'm actually against you. There was some
Really?
scenes when Abomination looked
That's
abominable. Like, it didn't look good for like. So I understand why they shot a lot of the fights in the dark.
Yeah, well, that's what that is.
There's some
yeah.
rough looking CGI in that movie.
Yeah.
Another dislike I have about this movie is, and it's not to the fault of the movie because it wasn't their idea, but this movie feels out of place. This movie, if you look back at this phase, this movie is not supposed to be there.
Yeah, it's definitely the sore thumb out of all these movies.
Like this was not originally intended to be in this universe.
I think similar to our Ang Lee video, if you're in the mood to watch some Hulk content, just like a Hulk movie, throw this on.
Yeah, there's not many options. You don't got much to
not
pick.
that many options, but I think this one holds up a little bit more than Ang Lee. I'd say. I think it's a little bit better, like marginally, like a tiny margin, but I think it's a little better.
This is a better movie. Incredible Hulk is better.
I think it's a better movie. For me, I'm gonna have to give it a C. I was teetering on B, but it's just how often do I go back to rewatch this movie?
Yeah.
Does it really last? Not really for me. I think C's fine. It's not a hard C. I think it's just a soft C. I think it's not horrible, but it's fine.
I wasn't trying to do the same thing as you because I honestly thought you were gonna go B.
I thought so too. I thought so too.
My original plan was C anyways, so for me it is going to be a C. I just, like you said, soft C, not a hard C, not good by any means. It's a little bit average or below average for me. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm not gonna go back and watch this anytime soon, so it doesn't get talked about like at all.
No. Well,
especially in the MCU.
That too. It's also because we don't really see much of the Hulk, and then after Mark Ruffalo kind of took over, it's more so Edward who?
Yeah,
you know?
It's a good. I guess the best thing about this movie is like you get some somewhat authentic Hulk, and he's fighting.
You get some really cool fight scenes.
Yeah,
too.
and he's
really cool fight scenes.
He's not walking around with a cardigan and glasses, so
he doesn't dab.
The Hulk dabs?
Yeah, in Endgame. That's the Justin Hammer dance.
Moving on to Iron Man 2.
Moving on to Iron Man 2.
There's two now. There's two now?
There's two now.
now.
Definitely, you could tell the favorite child of the MCU. To get two movies in one phase.
Oh, yeah.
Little crazy.
After the fucking success that Iron Man 1 was.
They wanted to...
With the cinematic universe beginning to take shape, Marvel worked on their next project, which would be the sequel to the hit Iron Man. Iron Man 2 would focus on introducing more characters to the universe, with Don Cheadle taking the place of Terrence Howard as War Machine.
And even then, I like that. Because he's at the hearing and he's like, Rhodey, look, man, I'm here. Not a big deal. Let's move on. So it's just a little subtle jab or just telling the audience, hey, I'm Rhodey.
Yeah, I'm not Terrence Howard, but
I'm not Terrence Howard. I'm Don Cheadle, actually.
Yeah. Another character that was introduced, not reintroduced, but introduced was Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow.
Black Widow, yeah.
Favreau and his team wanted to keep Obadiah Stane as a reoccurring villain in the sequels, but would now have to search for a new villain to go up against Tony Stark. Apparently, that was a thing too with contracts or something.
I could see that. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure what Jeff Bridges was doing, but I don't know if he wanted to come back.
Probably Tron Legacy. He might have actually been doing Tron Legacy.
Yeah, actually, he probably would have.
Same time.
Still working for Disney, but
yeah. So in production, they struggled to develop a good villain, a new villain that was compelling. So they settled for Ivan Vanko. Which was aka Whiplash.
Cool name.
Yeah.
Cool name. Yeah. Very cool name.
This movie touched more on Tony's father, who would become a regular character / theme in the later films. Iron Man 2 released in 2008 and faced mixed reviews. However, it was still a box office success and grossed over $623 million worldwide.
More than Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
I feel like we're gonna be a common recurring thing after this.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Going forward.
And it still currently sits at 72% critics and 71% audience.
I do like how it starts off. It starts off with Ivan in Russia. His father's dead, or it's like, all that I have to give to you is my knowledge. When watching it, because I was always thinking, well, how the fuck did he get the blueprints for the arc reactor? It turns out the blueprints, it says Howard Stark, and then it says his dad's something Vanko. Whiplash's dad was working with Howard Stark to make the arc reactor too. Yeah. So that's how he kind of gets that technology. Why he decides to finally use it, maybe because his dad died. Who knows?
Yeah.
But he makes a little miniaturized arc reactor. Granted, it's not perfect, but for what it needs to do, it works.
Yeah.
We get that. We see a Tony Stark that he's now Iron Man. He's more so just
more of a celebrity.
Yeah. I mean, I love the beginning when you finally see Iron Man. He's in the helicopter, which is very crazy because I remember the trailer. Pepper was there. She kisses the Iron Man helmet and throws it out, and he's like, "You complete me!" And then he falls off and grabs the helmet. In the actual movie, he's already there in the helicopter, ready to jump, and then "Shoot to Thrill" plays by AC/DC.
Yeah. What MCU and cutting things out of the trailer?
Yeah. Yeah. But it looks really good. He falls down on the Stark Expo, just talking about the big thing that, hey, you know, I'm Iron Man. It's good to be back.
Yeah.
You know, I love that scene. He plays a message about his dad, saying, the future, you know, what we're doing here is gonna help humanity and everything. It's the big Stark Expo. But as that's going on, you see him drinking alcohol as usual. He has this little like diabetes thing, measuring the blood toxicity in them. And I think in the beginning of the film is at 18%. But as we later find out in the film, that arc reactor is killing him.
It is killing him,
because of just it's not good. You know, it's a little arc reactor, and him using the Iron Man suit is expanding the toxicity levels even more. And it's very crazy when he takes it out and replaces the little cartridge because it's like smoking, but it almost looks like burnt flesh is around it. So he has to constantly keep re-upping it and just putting it back, and he's really trying to just cure himself.
After that, we get into a pretty interesting part of the movie for me. I like it was quick though, but it was a courtroom scene.
Yes.
Tony is in a courtroom and they're basically questioning him like, hey man, you can't just be using that suit for yourself. Like, we kind of want a piece of the pie, you know?
You need to give
that could help military stuff, and your technology could help. And you know, obviously he's on the kick of like, no, this is not.
I like his stance where like, no, you can't have the suit. The suit is me to give up. Iron Man's giving up myself. And he's like, in some states that might actually be prostitution. So he's having very like quirky, witty remarks and everything. I even like the classic bureaucracy where the congressman is trying to twist Rhodey's words and to say, oh yes, he is a weapon and he is a danger to society. But even Rhodey, Don Cheadle says, oh, although I did say that, I think the benefit of having Iron Man outweighs the liability of it, because he actually is useful and helpful to humanity and everything. Then we get introduced to the goat of the movie, Justin Hammer. And I do like his little speech of like, look, you know, Tony Anthony Stark is over here telling us that he has a sword, one of the biggest swords that is going to help humanity, but he claims it's a shield. I would love to leave my door unlocked and, you know, just go about my day. But this ain't Canada. I love that he says that. So then Tony just decides to like, you know, fuck this. He hacks into it. He's like, boy, I'm good. And shows a whole bunch of
different countries.
Countries trying to mimic the Iron Man suit.
Failing miserably.
They all fail, especially Justin Hammer. He's like, okay, lift your leg and now twist. And then he twists 180. He's like, ah! And then just like, I would like to say that the pilot survived just fine. Right?
So Justin Hammer, played by Sam Rockwell, which is a great actor. He has stated he would return as Justin Hammer.
I would want that.
Bring him back.
Bring the hammer back.
We get a scene of Tony going to a Formula One race.
Yes.
With a surprise cameo of Elon Musk.
I was going to mention that. Elon Musk has a cameo. The reason why I think is because later on in the film, in Justin Hammer's like lab or like lab or the warehouse, that's Elon Musk's warehouse. So I think that's why they did that. But you see him there, and throughout this whole movie, Tony Stark is dealing with the morality that he is dying. So he makes Pepper Potts CEO. Just one of those things that, okay, I guess. I mean,
he like we said in the first movie, you touched on, like he knows he's dying, and he's just kind of like a fuck everything attitude. It's like, okay, but that kind of is going against what you learned in the first movie.
Exactly.
So it's not making much sense.
Which I think I kind of get a little bit, but it's hard not to look at it, especially after watching the movies back and forth like that.
You're just like, what a changing character.
Because right now, I guess he's doing the responsible thing of, okay, maybe he just wants to give up his company so that he could have more time to be Iron Man. Or he knows he's dying, so fuck it, he's giving it up. But he does something kind of lash and crazy. They go to Monaco and they do the Formula One, and he says, hey, fuck you, buddy. I know you're the driver for my company, but get out. I'm driving.
Which I don't think they would let you do that in a Formula One race. No matter who you are, they would disqualify you.
It reminds me of the scene of in Batman Begins where like, or The Dark Knight's like, oh, we could put the tables together. I own the place. Right.
Then we get a pretty badass scene where he's driving, whiplash.
Well, not even that. He just turns on the thing and the suit that he wears.
It melts.
Burns up.
And then he slashes Tony a few cars before Tony's, and then Tony's. And I was like,
you get that one scene in the trailer where he just gets it and he goes.
It's pretty cool.
It's still very cool. Happy, and then when they get to Monaco, he has a suit. It looks a little weird, little like Iron Man-ish colors. Happy and Pepper go to the Formula track to save Tony because he's helpless.
They run into Whiplash, and he's stuck against a fence, and he's like,
Happy runs him over. Tramples him.
And then Happy and Pepper are freaking out. Tony's just like,
He's like, do it again, and it's just going like this to Whiplash a little bit. Then he breaks it, and Pepper. That scene made me mad. She finally throws it out. He grabs it, steps on it, and it's a really cool like suit up phase. Yeah, I like.
I'll take that over nanotech any day.
It's very nice. He fights Whiplash, and he sees once he like puts him down or whatever, he sees that hey, it's an arc reactor, right? Finally, he goes into a Monaco prison, and then Ivan just tells him, "If you can make God bleed, people will cease to believe him." Which kind of a cool line, but it's also a little corny. It seems a little edgy. Definitely edgy.
Do gods bleed?
Yeah, right.
It's like a punk band.
Someone breaks him out, which we later find out is Justin Hammer. He beats up his one cellmate and then puts like mashed potato that's C4 onto the wall and escapes, right? And he just kind of lets himself get kidnapped. That he doesn't put up much of a fight.
No.
And then he shows up and he's in fucking California or New York. He's in New York with Justin Hammer, and he's like, "Oh, hey man, I want to do some business with you."
Ivan's like, "I want my bird."
Yeah, he's like, "Your bird? I can get you a bird. I want my bird."
Yeah.
They're working together. They're in cahoots now.
Yeah.
They're doing the transition to CEO of Power, so you get introduced to Natalia Romanovsky or something like that, which is Natasha Romanoff. He asks her, "Oh, if it was your last day," and it's very like sexual tension.
I was about to say, I think she gets sexualized in this movie quite a few times.
Yeah. Quite a few times.
Yeah.
But he asks, "If it was your last birthday ever, what would you do?" And she's like, and she's like really close to him. She's like, I'd do whatever I want with whoever I wanted to. So he's like, okay. So he just gets fucking plastered, just hammered. He's in the suit. And he's just like, people always wonder or ask me how I go to the restroom in this suit. Just like that. And then the crowd just loves it.
Yeah, the crowd's just like, holy shit.
For whatever reason, fucking Rhodey's there and he's just pissed because he stuck his neck out for fucking Tony Stark.
For sure, yeah.
So he goes to the lab and he says, fuck it. So, we kind of see a small scene of him suiting up.
Yeah.
But you just see him suiting up in the Mark II, in the silver suit. Yeah. And he's like, I'm only going to say this once. And the CGI looks a little choppy because it's just a floating head.
It is, yeah.
Right? So then like it closes like, get out.
That's pretty good.
So then they fight, which is like Iron Man.
Pretty decent fight.
Very cool fight.
Very cool fight, yeah.
And Iron Man's like, sorry, Iron Man doesn't have a sidekick.
Then they have the fight.
Yeah.
They both kind of beat each other's ass. I believe from there, we cut back to Ivan doing his thing, which Ivan is now currently building robots for Justin Hammer. For the military branches using the Iron Man tech. Hammer wants suits.
Yes.
Ivan's making robots.
He's making drones. He's like, drones are better.
Drones, but Hammer doesn't want drones, and he's kind of giving him shit, and they're getting into it. But Ivan's whole thing is like he's making drones for himself. He's not helping Hammer at all.
No,
so
not at all.
While that's going on, Tony now, which this happens like halfway through the movie, it's kind of like a tone shift. He's found on top of a big giant donut. I think it's Randy's Donuts or something in LA. And Nick Fury approaches him, and he's like, hey man, we need to get your shit together. And then it's revealed that Agent Romanoff, Black Widow, works with Nick Fury.
And it's very crazy because she shows up and she's like, and then just like injects him and kills him a little bit.
Yeah.
She's like, this is just gonna take the edge off. That's it. I think this is one of the goofiest movies of the goofiest Iron Man.
It's pretty goofy.
There's moments where it's serious, and then there's moments where it's just like Tony Stark pissing himself, or there's after he beats up fucking Rhodey, he just sees the crowd of people and they're like all shocked, and he's like, rah! He roars at them, and then they just leave. Also, the Stan Lee cameo is him being as Larry King.
Nick Fury basically tasks him with, you're not ready to join the Avengers.
No.
But let's get you ready.
Yeah, well, like, you're dying. You need to figure it out. And look, I'm here because Iron Man tells him, look, I've tried every element, every known element. And then Nick Fury says, well, I'm here to tell you, you haven't.
Yeah, you're not trying hard enough.
Like, well, damn.
Yeah.
Right?
And so he hands him a box with a bunch of his dad's stuff.
Yeah.
And tells him, go through that. And so he's locked in a room under like Agent Coulson's watch and stuff. And
no communication at all. He's just there, just
doing his thing.
House arrest, I guess.
Yeah, basically house arrest, learning how to fix himself. And he encounters videos of his dad involving the expo and why his dad thinks the expo is so important to him. And Tony's kind of battling with damn, my dad liked the expo more than like me.
Well, yeah, like he didn't really care about me. His best day was like when he shipped me off to boarding school. You know? But in that video, you find that, look, Tony, I'm limited by the technology of my time. You have been and will always be my greatest invention. Things of that nature. And he's like, I'm proud of you or something. And then he more so is really obsessed with that fact that the Stark Expo, something, the key has to be there. So he drives to Pepper. He talks to her. They have a little back and forth. He doesn't really connect with her really because she's just kind of done with him. Yeah. Because he's a belligerent drunk. He takes the whole like paper mache expo thing.
Oh yeah.
He scans it, and then for whatever reason he's like, okay, we'll take all the shrubbery, the sidewalks, everything out, and then now make it look like a particle. Yeah. And then it does it, and it's like, well, dead almost 20 years and still taking me to school. I think
yeah.
like, okay.
He's like, Coulson, I found it. I know how to do this. Hand me that part right there. I need it.
Yeah.
It's a half-made Captain America shield. He doesn't actually need it. He just puts it as like a support for something. It's like a goof. Yeah.
You know?
That invention leads him to build a new arc reactor, which is a triangle.
Hot take. I like the triangle.
Triangle's pretty badass.
Triangle's very badass.
Pretty badass.
I like that. I like the little triangle thing. It looks pretty sick. I very much like that. Oh, we missed the big scene. We missed the very big scene. After Rhodey after they fought, Rhodey leaves, goes to the military base. And then he's like, look, we need to upgrade this. And then his superior officer is like, we need Justin Hammer. Get Justin Hammer.
Get him on the horn now.
So Justin Hammer comes up. He has a little nice expo like, oh, you see this? That's a 22 gauge shotgun.
And they're like,
things like that. They don't do anything. He's like, okay, I see,
Not impressed, huh?
Not impressed. This is my Michelangelo's painting, my Ninth Symphony. If it were any smarter, it would write a book. Call this The Ex-Wife. The Stark Expo happens. Justin Hammer is revealing his little drones, each of a different military branch. And then the big reveal is War Machine. Love that. I'm glad they kept that name, but they changed it to Iron Patriot in Iron Man 3. But War Machine just sounds badass.
I thought War Machine comes back as his name, or no?
I think so, yeah. War Machine just is cool.
Iron Patriot.
Yeah, then Iron Man crashes the party.
Yeah.
It's very cool. And he says, hey, he's working with Ivan. He's working with Vanko. We need to team up. And that's when Vanko says, fuck this. Mask off. He just programs all the drones to attack Iron Man.
Yeah, which is a cool fight in that little planetarium thing.
Yeah.
That's a cool fight.
It's a really cool scene. I like the little jokes that they have. Like, okay, we need our big gun up there. And they both walk up there. Very funny.
Yeah, it kind of sucks though because there's not really another fight with Whiplash. The main fight is them fighting the drones, and then at the end, maybe like 2-3 minutes, Whiplash comes and they beat him pretty quick.
Yeah,
by doing something pretty cool.
What they did when they fought with the whole hand thing.
Yeah,
and they shoot each other and just kills them. Well, I thought it killed him, but it didn't kill him. He's still alive, I think.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think, but still very cool. I love that scene where they're both just fighting the robots, especially the one where War Machine gets the guy and he's like shooting him, and you see the oil in his face. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, there's some good fighting in this
That's
movie,
very sick.
Maybe you can see it, but I didn't see much of an arc. It's just more of Tony Stark. Yeah, he's a drunk and stuff, and he kind of solves the arc reactor, but it's like we end off where he ended off in Iron Man 1, so it's like...
Yeah, not really an arc, more so the predicament of this movie is that he's dying.
Yeah.
But I guess, I don't know if you want to consider this an arc, because he's dying, he does like some stupid shit, very stupid shit, then he comes back, heals himself, and now he's back to, I think, exactly where he was at.
Exactly, yeah.
So. Substantial to the MCU. It's the same thing with Incredible Hulk. Does it make it substantial if there's a post-credit scene or the ending where he says they mentioned the Avengers?
I think the only substantial thing is like his relationship with his father being introduced.
Yeah,
that's something that's long-lasting.
Him and Pepper make it official. They kiss.
There you go. Introduction of Black Widow.
War Machine.
Yeah, just more like characters.
Side characters, really.
More than story. Not much story. I think this might be the weakest villain for me out of all these movies in Phase 1. I think this villain for me is just like whatever.
I could see that.
I think the pacing was a little odd. This movie is kind of all over the place, dude.
Yeah.
Like we have like that party scene and then straight crash when it's like he's a drunk now and he's hanging out with Nick Fury. It's just like hard hits.
Yeah, it's the pacing. I'd say not the very best. I'd say it's not a bad movie overall. Unlike Obadiah, it's almost like that, but a little worse. Where granted, I mean, he has actual reasons to want to go after Tony Stark and kill him.
Barely touched on though.
It just barely touched him. It's just more so he was working with the arc reactor. His dad kind of got shoved to the side. He goes to Russia and then just didn't work out.
Yeah. Does it hold up? I think this is not for me. This is probably the weakest in the Iron Man trilogy for me. It is the weakest for me.
I haven't seen Iron Man 3 in a while, and I'm excited to go back.
I like Iron Man 3,
but I want to see more of that.
Yeah, this is the weakest. Okay. I think this movie is carried by just Robert Downey Jr. being Iron Man.
Yeah, like, just more having fun with it, but it's still very cool. Whiplash is just an okay villain. Yeah. Me personally, I think I'm gonna give it a B. Yeah.
I think I'm exactly the same once again. Sorry, audience. My greatest strengths of this movie are, I like his relationship with his dad, the court stuff, them trying to battle of like, hey, we want to use that suit for stuff, and he's like, no.
I like that aspect of it. I like
Justin Hammer.
I like the invention of the new element, the little arc reactor. Yeah. It's kind of nice. Okay, not a really big arc. And then the post-credit scene on that one would be, Agent Coulson tells him, hey, I've been relocated. I gotta go. Fuck off. So he goes to New Mexico.
And he drives to.
It's like, sir, we found it.
Yeah.
And then it's the fucking Thor's hammer. And
it's a sight.
Lightning hits. And it's just like, oh, Thor's coming, you know?
But yeah, Iron Man 2, both B's. We're same so far in rankings.
Same so far.
You know, that's just how it is when great minds think alike. I apologize for that jump scare. That was part 1 of us revisiting the MCU Phase 1. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on notifications so you can be ready for part 2. However, if you are from the future, then the video's already out. So just go click on the channel or click somewhere over here and it'll be here and it'll take you straight to part 2. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you at part 2.